Hello and welcome to another Your Own Set of Wings video. Right, so we haven't really got a plan today. We've just got a lot of questions in a bucket.
About 20.
About 20-ish. So the idea was we've just got back from Disneyland Paris and there was loads of questions we had that we just couldn't find the answers to, or a definitive answer from a ridiculous amount of Googling. So the idea was to answer some sort of FAQs. By the way, if you can hear her snoring, it's the dog. It's her birthday today. She's asleep.
She wants to be there.
Hopefully that's not too loud. But yeah, so we're going to have a little drink because why not? We like Prosecco, so we're going to have Prosecco in our official 30th anniversary glasses.
We call it something in the video because they're plastic.
Glastic. In our glastic.
Is that what you call it?
In our glastic glasses, which
Do you want a towel?
God, yeah. Do you remember last time they put a hole in the ceiling? Didn't even touch this screw and it went in the head.
I hate that.
Right, here we go. That's fizzy, isn't it? Because the plastic, I am going to insert a glass sound effect there, so it might be seamless. That's pathetic, isn't it? Oh, wasn't it? It probably sounded great. Alright, here we go. Cheers. Right. So we're going to take turns in answering questions. This is a popcorn bucket we bought. That doesn't work, does it? This is a popcorn bucket we bought when we were at the park. So, do you want me to go first?
When you say go first.
So you pick and I'll answer.
Okay.
So we're just going to take turns. Here we go.
About 20 or 21, something like that. Right, this is pretty good one to start off with. So, is it worth staying in a Disney hotel?
Well, we've only stayed at Disneyland Paris once together, and when I say together, basically because Jen went when she was in school, but first time we both been together. I would say so, yeah. Purely in Disneyland Paris, Disney have basically got a monopoly on all the hotels being close. They're pretty much all Disney hotels, so purely for proximity, yes. We stayed in the Cheyenne, which it was like the second most affordable.
I think actually at the minute it's just my favourite hotel.
Yeah, it's really, I know we've only stayed there, like that's the only one we've stayed at, but
so cool.
yeah, most people say it's the favourite and I do get that. In terms of theming, yeah, it does feel like you're in a Disney hotel and it does feel like you're getting your money's worth, but honestly, purely due to proximity, just in Disneyland Paris alone, I would stay in the Disneyland hotel because you start factoring in how much you're saving on hotels and then you've got to think about transfers and purely for convenience, especially if you've got a baby. Like it's a 15-minute walk and boom, you're at the gate.
I don't know whether it will change, but at the minute, if you book a package hotel with the tickets through Disney, that guarantees you entrance into the park. Yeah,
at the minute.
Whereas if you were to...
I don't know if that's changed, but basically you had to...
It still is at the minute.
You could go to a non-Disneyland hotel and I can't remember the ins and outs of it, but basically you could be refused admittance just because you weren't like in.
Yeah.
But
so you can buy...
with Disneyland hotels that wasn't the case.
Yeah, so if you buy your tickets separately, you've got to essentially reserve a place to get in. So I think at the minute you should just book through Disney because if you book through Disney, that includes the Disney, like proper Disney hotels, but it includes the ones on the outskirts as well. So
yeah, the associate hotel one.
And there's like loads of hotels, but I think at the minute you should just do that.
Yeah, I think again in Disneyland Paris definitely, like when you start talking about like Florida and Anaheim and stuff, I don't really know, to be honest, enough about staying in Disneyland hotels there, but Disneyland Paris purely for proximity, I'd say yes. Right, next one, this is for you. Oh, it's long. Can you wait in a queue with a buggy at Disneyland Paris?
No.
Next.
No, I mean, that would have been ideal. I mean, when we queued for Mickey Mouse, the baby fell asleep. Like at that moment, and how long were we queuing for? Just over an hour, was it?
Was it 45 minutes? No, it was about an hour and a half,
and
wasn't it?
He woke up at like 5 minutes into the queue, and I think if he was in the buggy, he would have slept the entire queue.
Although they do offer...
I get it. I do get it.
I think, do you know what, it's probably, it sounds boring, but it's probably for like fire hazard reasons.
Yeah.
If there's like a fire alarm and everyone's got to rush out.
And if you want to just, you know, like sometimes you might queue up and then be like, do you know what, stuff this, and I want to leave the queue. If you had a buggy, I mean imagine being in Peter Pan
Although they do say, which I mentioned in our videos, if you haven't watched the videos, go and watch the videos. When we go to queue up in Peter Pan, the baby was asleep in the buggy. If we wanted to, one of us could have just queued, and then right near the end when we were about to get on the ride, I could have just wheeled up with the buggy, took the baby out and gone on the ride. It kind of defeats the point because the baby would have been asleep, so...
You would have just been... I mean...
We probably wouldn't have gone on it if the baby was asleep, basically.
That another time, because like... Do you know, like, on some rides, you went on and I just kind of stood outside with the baby. I just walked around, you'd just be doing that. It's just the poor person who's got a queue.
But yeah, as a general rule of thumb, you can't.
No.
So just bear that in mind, especially if you've got a sleeping baby and you're like, oh, let's go on this ride. It's like, well, one of you are going to have to wait, or you're going to have to just pick them out the pram.
Even like queues for shows, when you think the room, it's not a ride, it's a room with seats, and you think, oh, maybe you can just keep the baby in the buggy and take him in, and maybe they've got like a specific section for buggies, or like at the end of a row, like you can't.
Yeah, that sucks.
You've got to carry them asleep if they're asleep, but it would be good.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, he'll be old and he won't need a buggy soon, so you know. Next one.
Go.
Are the character meets just as magical as other Disney parks?
I would say so, yeah. There's kind of, I think we'll get onto it, I think there's a question in there about like, does it feel like proper Disney? But in terms of character meets, maybe it's just that kind of like protective blanket the cast members have of being dressed as characters, but I don't think there's any sort of like, there isn't any difference or sort of like European, not snobbiness, but European way about the characters when you go to character meets. It's very much like, feels like America and feels like what people would probably call proper Disney. That's it, yeah. I'd just say, yeah, it's just as good. They have time for you, especially because we had the baby. They did very much like, they not once, like they do in America, not once did they kind of go, okay, let's wrap it up now, even when the baby was just kind of doing nothing in particular and laughing and running in circles and stuff. They just kind of let us dictate when to take him away. And we've seen people getting selfies and hundreds of pictures with the characters, and they were happy to oblige. They just stay there, and the characters will just kind of play along and get different selfies and stuff, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, they just had so much time for everyone. What character meet was your favourite?
Either Woody or Winnie the Pooh.
I was going to say Winnie the Pooh.
Probably Winnie the Pooh, just because
I wish I could say Buzz, but I think Buzz was the start of him getting confidence.
Yeah, because the first few characters, he kind of wasn't sure. I think because we literally put him down, just went, go, and he was kind of like, he needed kind of the safety blanket of us being there. Well, I think Winnie the Pooh was the last character we would meet. So it's literally, we couldn't get him, we couldn't put him down quick enough, and you've seen the video, he just bolts for him. So yeah,
but Mickey was pretty cute as well though, because he had a little play with him.
Yeah.
And then when we look back on the footage, he actually says Mickey.
Yeah, we didn't know that at the time. He says Icky. It's very close to Mickey, but he actually says it at the time.
So that's his first word, Mickey.
Yeah, let's go with that. Right, okay, next one. What was the food variety of quick service like?
So, I thought it was really good. Because, like we was talking the other
I'm drinking this really quick. I'm actually really dehydrated, so I could swig it. I'm really thirsty.
Like we were saying the other day, weren't we, that little, like, stalls, is that what you call them? Didn't have much variety.
Like the kiosks?
The kiosks. But the actual restaurants that are quick service, there's loads. Like, I think they're doing themselves a disservice, really, because
hardly any of the kiosks were open. I think we might get onto snacks. There's a question there about snacks, but like a lot of the kiosks there, like I use Animal Kingdom as an example. Animal Kingdom in particular, when we went, everywhere you turned there was a kiosk. There was another kiosk, and then you walked, there was another kiosk, which was...
have about only 4 or 5 items on them, but
they
were all different.
In Disneyland Paris, they were just closed. Most kiosks were closed. So in terms of food variety and grabbing a snack, I don't really know because they weren't open.
Yeah, you could literally get a bucket of popcorn, the Mickey or mini shortbread, and some Lay's.
Yeah, it was kind of
pretty much the option.
Yeah, it was a bit of a formality that they felt like they were just kind of filling space because nothing was open. But in terms of the actual quick service,
the
variety, there was even a twist on boring stuff. Like instead of just having a chicken burger, they'd have a chicken burger with something else, or I got like the chicken vegetable wrap at the. Was it the Hakuna Matata one? Oh no.
The Colonel. No, that was where we got pizza. No, it was the Hakuna Matata.
Was it the Hakuna Matata one? And that was lovely. Like, you know, quick service.
That felt like the healthiest restaurant.
Yeah, I'd settle for like chips and nuggets really with quick service, but they were quite good and they were quite filling the meals.
Yeah, so like that one. I don't know what you'd class that type of food. It was like all rice and chicken stuff like that.
Like
then we went to the. I forgot what it's called now. The Colonel one up near Indiana Jones.
The Pizza Outpost.
Pizza Outpost, yeah. We got pizza, and then the Bellanote one with like that really nice spaghetti and stuff, and then Hyperion burgers and chips, and that was pretty decent as well. So like I think they've got enough, and then like there's a few in, is it Frontierland, and they had, is it Cafe Agrabah?
We didn't.
What type of food was that? Isn't it like a bit, people say it's a bit like spicy food and
what
stuff.
What was that one in Frontierland that was always closed?
Oh, and it looked really nice.
Every time of the day.
It was like a barbecue ranch looking.
It was near the Golden Nugget one, or the Nugget, what's it called? Lucky Nugget. It was like to the side of that and it was just closed.
Does that even look
nice? But variety wise,
I think they've got like a bit of everything.
It's really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the quick service.
Who's going on? I think you're asking me now? Yeah, because I put that one there.
Are there many baby changing facilities?
Yes, there's loads. So I think we made a comment in a video. The toilet, like fair dues to Disney, like the toilet availability, there was toilets everywhere. Like absolutely everywhere. Every 20 yards. No, I mean,
I don't think
not even close. Like to be honest, every toilet I went into seemed to be empty. I think because there's just that many of them, and I can't think of any of them that didn't have some sort of baby changing facilities. Even just near the sinks, you had the sinks, and then you had like probably around about the size of this table, for
like
just
a permanent.
Yeah, it's like a permanent fixture with a changing mat. Then aside to that, I don't know if some places had like, some places did have like better changing facilities, like right near the entrance to the park, like enclosed ones where you can have a bit of privacy, which was good. But in terms of general facilities, there's facilities everywhere, and then there's the baby care centre, which I mentioned, which is like, you know, they've got all sorts there. I think they've probably got food there. They've probably got like medical supplies.
Enough of a point of that.
No, because that's amazing. We went in it the last day just because I was curious. I literally walked in and was like, so what have you got to offer here? And I walked in, there was like 5 families and like loads of high chairs just having a casual like meal, obviously with the babies who were feeling a bit overwhelmed, which they should make more of a point of it because it was amazing. I was like, we probably wouldn't have used it because we were just constantly on the go, but if you wanted a minute or so.
Well, though, like if this was a year ago when he had like scheduled milk breaks.
Yeah, we'd have just sat there and had a breather.
We probably would have looked into it more, but
yeah, I think baby facility wise, spot on.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, the fact that we didn't even think to the last day, and we were just kind of like, oh yeah, the baby facilities, but to be honest, we didn't even need them. Yeah. The baby centre, sorry, we just didn't need it. It was great. It was ample.
Yeah, it was really good.
Right, here we go. Does Disneyland Paris feel like its American counterparts?
Yeah. Like, I know you were slightly worried.
I was, 100%. I'll admit it. Like, I was totally cynical about it, and I get it. I get the cynicism, because I was cynical about, like, is this going to feel like proper Disney, or is this just going to feel like it's Europeans having a go?
Like Disney timeline, you've been California twice and Disney World, so that's all you know. So, you know, it's the original. It's the original and then the biggest. So you're gonna. But when I went with school, it wasn't my favourite trip ever because it rained. It was February. It was freezing. It was a school trip. So school trips, you know, you don't do everything the greatest.
The weather helped as well. We went in the 1st of May, the 2nd to the 6th of May, and the weather was just scorching the whole time, which we kind of assumed. We were kind of like, let's. I think if it rained the whole time, I say we might have had a different opinion whether it was more like the American parks or like similar, but probably I don't know. Maybe
because we've been like the years I've been Disney World and it's been torrential rain, but there's American rain. And then there's European rain, like American rain I love. Like, it's either a full-on show or it's just like quite calming because of how hot it gets, like the rain you need. So if it rains in Paris, it would have just felt like at home. But I think like the weather definitely helped to make it feel like Disney. But the staff, I mean, a few little niggles where we thought people weren't Disney material.
We'll just say it like it's the elephant in the room. Like we'll say it like the whole I mean, I say we're Europeans, technically not anymore, but like it is kind of a stereotype where you go like to Paris and people are rude, which isn't entirely correct, but it's not necessarily individuals are rude, it's just a different culture thing. Like Americans are more likely to be like louder, larger than life.
You just can't be American.
You don't get that in Paris.
Customer service.
Yeah, everything about Disneyland Paris is great, but you're not going to get that over the top customer service. You just don't get it. It's not necessarily like a dig. It's not like, oh, they should be like that. That's just European culture. Go anywhere, go into a cafe. It's not, I'm not saying it's not going to be inviting. But
I think just America
it's just
is
not,
over
yeah.
the top, so and their service is just a different level, so it's
that's the only thing you don't get in Disneyland Paris. Like if you walked in, you would think it was America, except for someone going hi, yeah, and being over the top. Someone would just be nice and polite, but not overly 11 out of 10 polite.
Yeah, but it was just. Like you saying,
we're going back at Christmas. We'd actually booked it before, but
which is why you were a bit like.
I was like, we booked at Christmas before we'd been the first time in May, and I was like, okay, well we booked through Disney, so we can cancel it. We're staying at the Sequoia Lodge, by the way. Is that right?
No.
Santa Fe. Well, I am. Jen, where are you? Wrong hotel. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I was kind of like, okay, we've got a safety blanket that we can cancel. Let's just see how we get on in May. But like the second we were there, I was like, I want to come back at Christmas. And I still want to come back. So yeah.
Next week.
Yes.
But like now we're intrigued to see what like Japan, like going to Tokyo and Disney at sea.
Yeah, that'll be amazing because I want to just see what kind of original take they have on it.
Which I think I enjoy that though, like. You put California and Florida together because it's American. So then you've got like the French take on it. So then to go to like over to Asia and do their take on it.
Yeah.
Still be Disney, but
it looks amazing, and they don't do things in halves. Like it's so
Shanghai
grand.
Looks unreal. Like that's definitely like what we need to do that ASAP.
True that.
So, yeah.
This is ridiculous. I can't remember who asked the last question. I asked you.
You asked me, so I'm asking you a question. How did you find the 30th celebrations?
Did you write that? Did you write that, or did I write? I don't know what to say to that.
No, well.
Oh yeah,
what did you think of it? Was it worth it? Would you go to the park again for another big Would you go like the 50th celebrations in Disney World?
I don't know. Like it was okay. I just felt, to be honest, if it was to sum it up, it was a bit like the way May the 4th was. It was kind of like a, hey, May the 4th here. We're supposed to be doing something, although they didn't really do anything for it. 30th anniversary is like.
Everything they done was really good.
Everything they done was okay. It just felt like it was like a formality, almost like they'd been told, oh, you've got to do something for the 30th anniversary. And you're like, all right, we'll put some banners up. We'll put like a slight, extra branding here and there, but it didn't necessarily feel like super special. I mean, people are always going to compare it to America, but you were showing me pictures of like the different popcorn things you can get in America for the 50th anniversary. Yeah, they were grand. They were basically like models, and there's popcorn in them. We looked everywhere, couldn't find a 30th anniversary one. It was this with 30th written on it.
Which I still kind of wanted, but...
Yeah, but it was kind of like... I mean, that goes back to the whole kiosk thing, like them just being closed and nothing being in stock. It just very much felt like it was like, oh, we'll get around to it. But yeah, the 30th anniversary thing was okay. When I think about when we went, it wasn't like, oh, the 30th anniversary touches here and there were amazing.
Like we went out our way.
Yeah,
like,
we went out...
when we went to the cafe and got like little... And you got like a... cake, what are they called?
Brownie
cake pop
thing,
things
yeah.
And
yeah, it like, just like if I didn't know it was 30th anniversary, I wouldn't have thought anything.
Yeah.
I
like
would
we
have.
made sure we bought.
I probably would have said like
stuff.
after the second day or third day, oh, is it the 30th anniversary? I saw some branding over there, and someone would be like, oh yeah. Apart from that, there wasn't
like,
anything that jumped
things
out.
like this, like I don't know whether they have a champagne cart all the time, but like I think that was quite a nice.
Yeah, that is like the kind of thing I would expect from like over the top.
Yeah.
But
and there's things like, I mean,
there wasn't anything else.
Hold my hand up, I forgot they'd done their own Dole Whip, which I'm gutted about.
Oh, but it wasn't open because we went past that.
Well,
it was closed. Again,
they
was closed.
They brought it back for the celebration specifically, I think, and it's in Cafe de la Bruce or something like that. It's called, and the whole week it was closed, and other people who were there that week, it was closed for them. And also they were meant to be bringing back the turkey. Well, not bringing back.
Oh yeah, I was buzzing for that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a turkey leg and
a Dole Whip, which is like the best dessert. But I didn't. I totally forgot about it because I didn't see them.
It was probably in a kiosk that was closed.
But do you know, what I really wanted to buy was the soap dispenser, and they didn't have it at all. And the week after we got back, there was one of like an Instagram page I follow put on that they got them all back in stock again.
Maybe if we were more aware and we went like Disney World, they would have things that were just out of stock for a week and then back in. But it just felt like the perfect storm of this week they're out of stock, or it's closed this week. Again, go back to the 30th anniversary.
Like,
everything just felt a bit like, we didn't get around to it, or.
I was expecting to walk around in every kiosk. You know, there's a Dole Whip, there's a turkey legs. In America, they have the little ice cream stand that's got like a picture. Do you like it's like a little picture of like every ice cream?
They were basically replaced by popcorn stands.
Yeah,
some of which didn't have popcorn.
Have like them, and then one of them would be a Dole Whip. But the fact that I totally forgot about it, and it's literally my favourite Disney snack, just shows that.
Oh yeah.
They didn't
Dole
really
Whip
do
in
much.
ages.
And like the turkey leg, that was something I thought about after the trip. Otherwise, I would have been looking for that because that's a great snack to share.
Yeah, they just didn't have it.
So
yeah, 30th anniversary wise.
Was Dream and Shine Brighter 30th?
Yeah, I think so. Because they have the drones. I think there's a.
No, not that was Delight. The parade.
Sorry, yeah.
That was like the best thing.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like, yeah, that was really good.
Whatever that YouTube channel is that have filmed it, have definitely
They've got
ranked up
all of the views from us. Dex just been watching it, bouncing.
That was unreal. Like I think you'll see on day one, the moment we enter the park, we get hit with that parade.
Yeah,
and it's a good parade because it's like a little cavalcade isn't it like 15 minutes long, and then there's a little show in the middle, and then it's back or something.
Yeah, the song's an absolute banger as well, which helps. We've had it playing. It's on Spotify now, so we play it in the car, which we've been doing.
Ride.
I'm ready for the ride. That one. Amazing.
But and it's got all like the characters Dexter wanted to see. So like the moment, like 5 minutes into the park, he saw Minnie, Mickey, Woody, and Jessie. That was amazing. And Delight, like that was unreal.
I think that's a question.
No, but that was like.
But that was for the 30th. Like that was proper wow. Like every time you see it, you're just like, oh my god. But we'll get on time in a minute.
So that ready for what's
ready
it called?
for the ride.
That's the song. Keith Kim's called Dream and Shine Brighter. And the champagne.
Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't over the top, so I wouldn't be like, oh my god, we've got to go for the 30th. If you miss the 30th, I wouldn't worry about it. Obviously, to go to Disneyland Paris, it's great, but I wouldn't be stressing out if you're trying to go this year or whenever the 30th celebrations end. I wouldn't worry about it.
It's just an added bonus.
Yeah, and I don't think you'd notice even if they weren't there.
Yeah.
Which goes it? Me to answer.
You asked me.
What amenities do you get at Hotel Cheyenne? By the way, I don't know if I've been saying it wrong the whole time. Cheyenne. Oh, the Cheyenne. I don't know what it is. The Cheyenne.
The Cheyenne?
Cheyenne.
I think I say Cheyenne.
The cowboy one.
So before we got there, we needed to know whether there was a hairdryer.
Kettle.
A kettle, and that was it. Oh no, I wanted to know if there was shampoo and stuff to save on having to
Well, it was like,
shampoo.
it was all the basic ones. Hairdryer, kettle, tea, coffee, hairdryer, kettle, tea, coffee, hairdryer, kettle, tea, shampoo, basic stuff. We just couldn't find any information anywhere.
We spoke to someone. I think I might put it on like a Facebook group asking because like the website didn't say much. So we ended up taking a travel hairdryer. There was a little hairdryer in the bathroom. I didn't even use it, but
one of those box ones, the ones that go. The rubbish ones that take forever.
But like, yeah. There wasn't a kettle. We ideally want a kettle so we can have tea, but we needed it for the baby's bottles. But we asked at reception, and I don't know if it's always the case. Do you have to put a deposit down?
I don't know. I just heard online, but I think they've recently done up the Cheyenne, so maybe it's just
we just asked at reception and they gave us a kettle.
They were fine. They were just like, yep. Just and then I even left it in the room. I was like, do we have to bring it back? And they're like, no, just leave it in the room after you finished and just don't bring it back. They were fine with it.
Yeah. So you don't get tea and coffee in your room, but we learned that in some of the blocks, I don't know how many there is actually, the little coffee or hot drink kiosks.
There's probably about 4 or 5.
I don't know. Well, we were in building 22, weren't we? And in building 21, there's a little entrance, like as soon as you go in there's a staircase, wasn't there? And there's like a little vending machine and they had hot chocolate, loads of
they had all sorts. They had like pretty much anything you can think of.
It was amazing.
It's just like, what do you say, like liquid polos? So it was like just like sugar.
And I was thinking, did I click peppermint tea? But when I went back and looked, it was green tea. So
I don't know, but it was really good.
But they had loads of options. I think you could get tea. I just got hot chocolate and it was nice. So you didn't necessarily need tea and coffee in your room. You could have, was it one a day?
It's one a day per room key, but the room key is also the card entrance key.
That you could have more.
You might have been able to. I don't know.
But anyway, so yeah, she didn't have a kettle, so you had to ask for one.
But it is available. I think that's important. Like, note that it is available. We were like stressing out, thinking, what was our plan? I think I was going to go to the Starbucks there and basically say, can I have a cup of boiled water? Then go back to the room and kind of mix it.
We were going to pack the baby the pre-made formula bottles because we thought, don't want to go out and buy fresh milk, we'll just hit the formula. Then we were like, that is just going to weigh the bank down.
Yeah, and it did.
So we just took formula powder and obviously we could get hot water then.
Yeah.
So then we got toiletries, you got your little shampoo,
you
body wash.
Replenished every day, weren't they?
Yeah,
because we
used them every single day.
We use all of them, and we even ate the wrappers and the containers.
They were all themed. I don't actually think other toiletries and other hotels have got like.
Yeah, I don't think so, because we watched Adam and Gary's video? We watched Adam and Gary's video on Adam Hatton Vlogs, and they were like, oh wow, look, they've got like themed shampoos, which we'd never stayed in a Disneyland hotel, Disneyland Paris hotel, so we just thought that was the norm, but I don't think it is. So again, another thumb up for the Cheyenne, like.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, so you got your soaps, shampoo, body wash, and then in the actual shower there was a body wash. I think it was like a hair and body wash
on the wall,
attached to the wall.
It had pretty much everything. I mean, the only thing you had to ask for was a kettle.
It was really good though, that shampoo. Like, you know, sometimes you have shampoo.
I didn't use the shampoo we took. I just used that because it had Toy Story characters on it.
But no, sometimes you have shampoo and you're like, I need conditioner because my hair feels like straw. But it was actually really nice shampoo. Like, didn't need to brush my hair after.
That was really good.
It wasn't knotty or anything. And the plug situation. So we took an extension lead, so we only needed one adapter, and then we'd have 4 plugs available. But below the telly, there was like a few USBs, a European plug, and a UK plug,
which was so I brought an extension. I bought an extension lead with UK plugs and USB on it, just worst case scenario, just in case. And we didn't use it. We literally used one adapter, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never.
They were obviously onto it. Maybe that's been part of the revamp. They were just kind of like, right, what do people do? Bam, they get an extension lead in. Why don't we just put a UK plug in? Boom. It was really handy.
I don't think I've ever been away and there's been.
I've never been. I travelled with work all over Europe, God knows how many times, and I've never encountered one UK plug in a European hotel ever.
One plug, like.
Never.
Yeah. So that was like a.
We were just like, oh. Also, quick shout out to the pillow availability.
Oh my god, do you remember the baby on the first day?
So the baby was rooting through the drawers. We must have had, I don't even think we got them all out. It was the 4 extra pillows. 4. So usually you have like 1 extra pillow, which is like above the safe in the room near the door or something like that in a hotel. So we had a double bed with
I think just had 2 pillows.
2 pillows on. But then there was just spare pillows everywhere, and the baby was just like pillow. And I think a third pillow out, I was just like, what's going on? Where are these pillows?
It was insane. It was like the drawers. It was like 8 drawers. And I remember
I think there's more than 4.
He just loves playing with doors, and he just opened the drawer, and there was a pillow. I was like, oh,
there was a pillow in pretty much every drawer in the room.
And there was 4 extra.
But they were
pillows.
proper big puffy pillows, like they weren't just like flat pack ones.
We used them on our bed as well, so we had 4, and then we
padded out
the travel cot. And the travel cots, I think, apparently are in the rooms anyway. Like I put on a note, I think when we
was it set up when we went in?
No, it was like on the little shelf near the sink.
Oh yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare settle to be honest, but that's just travel cots.
I feel like they're just in the room, because on Adam Hatton's vlog.
Do you want a toffle?
I'm sure when he went into his room, because they sit at the Cheyenne as well, there was travel cot in there. Oh my god.
Go. Chug. Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, I think I'd always just put a note on the booking just to say travel cot required.
Wasn't that your first? Chalk Jen.
But yeah, and it was quite a decent travel cot, because they're normally a bit pants anyway.
It's my third, by the way. I'm sorry I've been drinking it all. I'm just really dehydrated.
I can get you a water, you know.
I know, but like Prosecco's nice, isn't it?
But yeah, so there was a hairdryer, there was a travel cot.
Yeah,
there was
basically anything.
And then with your room key, you get a free hot drink a day, or possibly 2.
Yeah.
I mean, when I
really
scanned the card, it said credit. Either 4 or 4 euros. I'm thinking, it
wasn't 4 a day.
Tiny, very, very small cup, but that you couldn't say it was 4 euros, but no one will pay that when there's a Starbucks on site. Is that classed as an amenity? I can never say that.
An amenity?
Starbucks? Or does that just mean what's in your room?
Yeah, that's just like kind of free.
Okay, that's not free. But yeah, I don't think of anything else.
Where are we up to? I think it was you're asking me.
Meal plan or wing it?
Right. So we went
Around
in circles 1,000 times about whether to go for the meal plan. Asked my sister, who's kind of in the industry. She gave us some great advice, and honestly I think for a lot of people the meal plan totally makes sense. But with the way we holiday, I just don't think it makes sense. We very much like, I don't know, like maybe we just try and pack in as much as possible. Like on the Tuesday we did like 43,000 steps or something like that. Just because we just want to make the most of it, bam, all over the place.
As well, we always forget to eat. We don't get hungry.
Yeah. So
our only concern was we want to make sure the baby gets food whenever he wants it. Like it doesn't matter.
That was the only time we slowed down and was like, okay, maybe we should get food. Was basically when we thought, right, it's like the baby's dinner time or whatever. But if you're the type of people or family or person who likes to constantly be on the go, I wouldn't get the meal plan. I think
I just don't think it's worth the money. Like
I think if you've been Disneyland Paris 10 times and you want to go just because you like walking around and being in the atmosphere of Disney, get the meal plan, because that means you're going to have a lot of downtime. But if you don't intend on spending half of your time sitting down not doing anything, if you want to be on the go and doing as much as possible, I wouldn't get the meal plan. Or if you're not traveling with like a family of like 10 or 15 and you all want to stick together and you all want to do the same thing, I would get the meal plan if you're in that situation. But apart from that, I just wouldn't do it. I just think quick service works.
Yeah, we just done quick service. How many sit down meals have we done? We've done the character dining downtown.
That was it.
Yeah, like.
And it's nice to do that as like an experience, of sitting down and having an experience. But I just don't think it's worth it. I really don't. For someone like us, we are very much like 100 miles an hour and we like to pack loads in. Yeah. And I don't want to be going, oh my God, Peter Pan's too long. Let's run across and do Buzz again. Oh, we can't because we've got to hang around for like 15 minutes for our meal. Oh, that means we haven't got time. So then there's 15 minutes dawdling and then you go for the meal, which is great. Like the meals, yeah, really good. But I just don't think, all things considered, when you weigh up the potential savings and the
I
potential
mean, you do a lot of
ability.
maths on it, like
Yeah, I
worst
do.
case
I
scenarios
like
and everything.
Rain Manned all of the maths and looked into it. And I think for the potential saving, and it is potential depending on how much you're gonna like plan on eating, the potential saving weighed up with how much you value your time and having fun, I think don't go for the meal
Yeah, and we
plan.
also thought as well, like, get the meal plan. Okay, you might have 2 or 3 meals planned a day, but then, you know, you go Disney, you
have a
want to
snack.
experience the snacks. And, like, we were there for 30 celebrations, and we knew we wanted to try them.
And we turned
So
some
we
of our
wouldn't be
snacks
paying
into like
extra
meals,
again.
didn't we?
Yeah,
which
just to get us
if we were
by.
like, oh, let's go and get, well, it was closed anyway, but oh, let's go and get a Dole Whip and maybe we'll make it into a meal. Oh, hang on, is that on the meal plan? Or maybe no, let's wait 3 hours
just
because
a
that's when
plan.
our meals. But yeah, for people like us who just like to just go with the flow and just do as much as possible, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think
Unless you want absolute regimented, like bam bam bam, an itinerary that you absolutely have to stick to, and you're flagging if you don't eat, maybe go for it. But I imagine it's probably the same in Disney World. If we were to do that in Disney World,
I mean, apparently that's like...
apparently it's amazing in Disney
unreal.
World, but I'm assuming the same logic would apply with us just being bam bam bam, unless we were going for the 15th time or something.
Yeah.
But I would say generally not for us anyway.
I think, like, a lot of people might pick dining... Is it the meal plan and it's dining plan in America? I keep getting them confused.
Again, like, I immersed myself in it because they changed it just as I was looking into it. They just changed it just for the new dates being available in like March or whatever it was, and there was like the premium and then the other premium. So again, that's another thing you got to consider.
What level?
What tier you're gonna get, and you kind of end up in a nether zone between like, oh, well, we don't want to quite do this, we don't want to quite do this because here we'll lose money and here we won't have enough food to eat, and it's just like, oh.
I think a big thing with us is if we are told, right, you're gonna have a meal 3 times a day for the entire stay, that means we had to have breakfast at the Cheyenne every single day.
Oh yeah, there was that as well.
What we like to do is, if we're gonna have something,
get out at the crack of dawn and just walk around.
But like, if we're gonna have food, let's try somewhere new every day.
Yeah.
So ideally, at first you're like, oh right, that's great. So Cheyenne the first day, the second day we'll go Marvel. Next day we'll go Newport Bay. But
you have to eat breakfast in your hotel every single day, which is at 11 o'clock or something, wasn't it? Wasn't that the case? It was like late breakfast.
No, it wouldn't have been.
I'm pretty sure it was.
The park will have been open for like 2 hours by then.
Don't know.
No, but like...
maybe I'm mistaken there.
I mean, we say it a lot just in general, like when we go into town, like, let's go somewhere different.
Yeah, we do it. We would just be like, right, let's get out, let's start walking around. We'll start walking around and then we'll be like, we'll just kind of, even if we know where we're going for breakfast, we want to be out and about. But if we had to then go and then come back for breakfast at the hotel and we couldn't go anywhere else for breakfast, we were tied into that. It removes some of the sort of sporadic nature of it, which I think is part of the fun of Disney.
And I think like you might assume that the meal plans, everything's just sit down meals, and that means you'll miss out on them. But I think most of the quick service we sat in the restaurant.
Yeah,
like,
and you get
if
to
were
soak,
having a meal.
and you get to soak in a lot of the atmosphere.
So it wasn't okay because when we went to Disney,
it wasn't like you can't go anywhere and sit down
it was
and
not
experience.
Like a kiosk.
Yeah, it wasn't just like there's your food, get out.
Because in Disney World, I mean, we didn't really sit down in many places. It was a pretty much, I think because it was such a busy holiday.
Because the kiosks
we
were
went
open.
to kiosks constantly, so it was like a quick few tater tots and like a hot dog. So you grab it and go, or sit on a little bench. But we actually made effort and sat in restaurants. So that almost felt like we were having a bit of a meal. Well, do you know what I mean? Like, so if you weren't going to get the plan, it doesn't mean you're walking around with food the entire week. You can still sit down. It just means you're essentially getting...
Is that the baby? We've got the baby monitor because the baby's in bed.
But yeah, you can sit down and eat at quick service, so you're still having a meal.
Are you hot? Suave. Should have wore a vest. I'm roasted. Could you imagine me sat in a vest? Oh, never mind. Whose go is it?
But yeah. I think I asked you.
Yeah, I think so. How many have we left? Quite a few. How long have we been going for? What rides can or should a toddler go on
So
at Disneyland Paris?
we didn't really have any worries about the city because we've been to Disney so many times. We've basically done, you know, majority, like all the rides. So our intention was to go, just enjoy the atmosphere, do all baby rides that we wouldn't necessarily just go on as adults, and do the shows and meet characters more. But we pretty much went on every ride apart from coasters. So like Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain.
I think that's it. The carousel, which he sat on, cried, and then we took him straight off.
But like, you know, I think it's just common sense. Like, you wouldn't put a 2-year-old on a full-on roller coaster, and like Indiana Jones. So like those rides obviously can't go on. But he was pretty much fine to go on everything. But there's 2 rides that I wouldn't put him on again until he's a bit bigger. The first one being Ratatouille. He was totally fine on it.
I think he
sat on our knee, but I think the motion sickness did.
It was the mixture, which is what makes the ride good. It was the mixture of visual and practical effects, because you're moving around through environments.
I think he enjoyed it because there was a lot to look at.
But there was the first bit
when it goes down like the glass roof.
And he squeezed us. He was like, oh, because he was a bit unsure. Because obviously.
I felt really mean because I thought he doesn't understand. He didn't even have the 3D glasses on.
Yeah. And then there was Slinky Dog, which we've detailed in the video. I know it's kind of like we should have used our judgment, but I would like to think that if we went on, we were going to go on with, you know, a toddler, the cast members would be like, you probably shouldn't go on with him because of X, Y, and Z. And that's what you do. You listen to what they kind of, you listen to what they say.
All the ride does is goes in a circle and like
centrifugal force just pushes you out the ride.
But because it is on like a bit of an angle. You go round and it does go pretty fast.
Yeah, it does. It goes faster and faster as the ride goes on.
You don't just sit in the seat, and it's a plastic seat, so you slide. The baby couldn't sit on our knee.
The big one there was the baby couldn't sit on our knee.
If you sat on our knee,
you could just hang on, even if it was one hand, you could just squeeze and make sure he doesn't go anywhere and hug him right into you and hold him between your legs. But they said no, he has to sit in between you, which we were like, that was the only ride he had to sit in between us, even on Ratatouille. Which is quite up and down and left and right. You could sit, but maybe it was. I mean, maybe like comment if you took a toddler and they were allowed to sit on your knee, but maybe it was just a cast member mistaken. But if that is the rule, he has to sit next to us. He should not be allowed. Even like
where was the so we're sat like this. He was here.
So it's there. The bar's like that. You know,
at least
quite a bit away from him, but it was just dangerous. Like when babies do their typical I don't want to be held, and they go straight and they go stiff like that and they stretch up with it. If he did that on that ride, he'd have fallen out that ride, or we'd have had a hard time keeping hold of him. So if that is the rule, they shouldn't let him on that ride. So if you've got a toddler I'd say a toddler, Dexter's like 1.5 when he was there, and he's quite slight. But even if you've got like a 3 or 4-year-old on there, even if they're holding on to it themselves and they get a bit scared, and they'll definitely slip around. So I'd just be careful with the Slinky ride.
Adam and Gary on it like a couple of years ago when they went to Paris, and they're like, you know, 2 fully grown men, taller than us, and they were even sliding about. Like you see in the video, I had to put like wedge my foot because I preempted like it was going to happen.
You shouldn't have wedged it that side because it's on that side.
No, but it stopped me from moving. Like it held me in a place.
The fact that we're talking about the safety precautions we had to take to not fall out the ride. It's like for adults, you can kind of just, you know.
Yeah, it would have been a laugh.
You can shake it off and be like, we nearly fell out, but we were fine. But with the baby, it was.
And it did feel a bit dangerous. As well.
It does go fast, and it gets faster and faster as the ride goes on.
At the start, we were both like, this is quite nice.
Oh, this is quite.
And then we were like, no.
It went faster, and it was quite scary for a little bit because little man didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, but like there's like a few rides we didn't go on because we don't like them. Other than that, he went on everything apart.
Yeah, as a blanket rule, apart from that, they can pretty much, babies and toddlers can pretty much go on anything.
Well, the rides we didn't go on, he probably wouldn't go on anyway. The RC thing, no way, was like, I hate like rocking ship looking rides.
Yeah, I didn't want to go on that either.
The parachute drop, I don't like up and down rides. He probably wouldn't have been allowed on that.
Wouldn't if he'd have been allowed? Oh, he wouldn't have been allowed on Tower of Terror, would he? I wouldn't have thought so. Imagine that.
We didn't go on Crush's Coaster because that's like a 1,000,000 minutes long queue all the time. it looks horrific. It spins. I hate spinny rides. Like, you couldn't have gone on that. And then that's really the only rides we didn't go on. And
all the main ones, all like especially like Fantasyland, like Pinocchio ride, Peter Pan.
The rides he would like, the storybook.
The one where you're just kind of looking around, taking it all in. But yeah, generally like you can pretty much go on any ride. Even Pirates of the Caribbean, there's a few little drops in that. You can keep tight hold them sitting on your knee. Yeah. It's fine, and for the majority of it, you're just kind of moseying along.
I think a lot of people are like, why are you taking your baby to Disney? And it's like, well, he can literally go on everything.
Yeah. Also, Jen thinks I say mosey a lot.
He does go through the vlogs.
Which I didn't realise until Jen critiqued me. I do say mosey a lot.
How many times he says it unless you've cut them out without me knowing.
You'll never know. Right, whose go is it?
You asked me.
Yes.
Are the times when the park is too busy?
Yeah, so very predictable really. Yeah. Around, I'd say 1 o'clock, but 2 o'clock in particular. 2 till 3. It got to the point, again, we like to cram in as much as possible, but it was just too busy. Every single ride was rammed. All the quick service was rammed everywhere, so we just, especially having the
blanket rule, 2 o'clock, let's go.
Yeah, we just got out of the park, and we actually wanted to explore the hotels, and having the baby as well, who usually has a nap around anywhere from 12 to 2 o'clock. We thought, let's just keep on the move, get him in the pram, or if we're going somewhere, get him to run around and get his energy out.
Like, it worked a treat.
Yeah, we just left the park. So pretty simple really. Around 2 o'clock, 2 to 3 o'clock, yeah, it gets rammed. It gets really busy.
Like when we got back, that apparently the week we went, there was Dutch holidays. I don't know if it was the entire week or just one of the days, because it was like ridiculously busy.
Yeah, it was busy.
The Monday was bank holiday for us, but it was one day.
I think as a general rule of thumb, just 2 to 3 o'clock. Like if you're going, God, it's getting busy. Should we try and go to another ride? Should we try and go to another park? If you're looking on the app, no. Just if you've got an excuse to maybe go out the park and like chill for a little bit.
Disney Village, and there's a hotel.
Disney Village, yeah.
To look at.
Maybe just keep that in the back of your mind and anticipate that if you are going to like maybe make a table booking, book for them. If you can get a booking.
Actually, yeah.
Because they usually say like when it does get busy, book to have your food. But although sometimes it can be busy because people are going for food. I don't know. But yeah, I just keep that 2 to 3 o'clock window in your mind. Right. Okay. Next one. That was easy. You must be able to hear the dog snoring.
Okay, Rex.
Did you hear me talking about you? The eyes. She's awake. Her eyes are awake anyway. Are extra magic hours worth going for? This leads on nicely from the busy times.
Not for rides, but yes, for photo opportunities and just chance to explore.
I think that pretty much nails it.
Like, I just think on the Tuesday, so our like first full day, we went on 4 rides in extra magic hours, which is good, but the rest of the time...
Do you know what? There's a screenshot I took of the app. So it's... What time's it open? 8? No, half 8. Half 8 till half 9 is extra magic hours.
If you stay on Disney property as well.
But I took a screenshot of the app at like half 8, and honestly, like, it's not, but it seems like 90% of the rides are closed. Like, I was like, oh, we'll rush on here. Oh, we'll rush on here. And basically the ones you want to get in for to utilise magic hours, extra magic hours, they're closed. And it's so frustrating, especially if you kind of like want to try and get as much in and beat the system like we do. We're like, oh, let's get in and get on this, and let's go on Peter Pan, closed. Let's go on Pirates of the Caribbean, closed.
And it was like every time.
Yeah, but it's not. Unless you just want to walk around and soak up the atmosphere, which is fine, and we did. That's my phone. So unprofessional. Yeah, if you want to just soak the atmosphere in, like go in, yeah, great. And we did it on the Thursday for photo opportunities. But if you want to go in and be like, let's get on all the main rides, no, don't worry about it. I mean, even if you want to have a little bit of a sleep in, you're like, oh, we don't want to miss out on extra magic hours. Have a sleep in. Like, I'm all up for getting up early, but I wouldn't worry about it.
But then, like when we go, if we go back again for like a week, we probably would still go extra magic hours.
But that's just what we're like then.
Because like I just like being in the park and
again, like it is like if you want to just soak up the atmosphere. If you're like very much a Disney person, you just want to be in the park, like we are, great. But if you're like, well, I want to go in because I want to get on all the rides, you're like wasting your time.
Basically,
really.
the whole of Fantasyland.
Maybe do it for one day to get on like Buzz, which is open but does get quite busy. What other rides are open? I honestly can't think.
Well, on the first day we did Dumbo. We went on the carousel.
Oh, the Orbitron.
The Orbitron. We done Buzz like 4 times.
I can't think of any other rides.
We went on Pinocchio and like Snow. Did we do Snow White as
Was
well?
Pinocchio open? We queued for 25 minutes for Pinocchio.
No, it didn't, did it?
This is what we're like. We had every intention of
do
hitting up
Indiana
like
Jones?
5-6 rides.
We might,
Possibly.
That very first time might have.
But I don't know. But I wouldn't worry about getting on rides by Extra Magic Hours
We
because
done
you're not
Big
going to get
Thunder
on them.
Mountain. That was open because while
Yeah,
I was queuing
yeah.
them, you went with the baby because we were in the parent swap for that.
I ran to go on Pirates, which wasn't open.
And then you went to go on Phantom Manor, and that was shut as well,
That
wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I saw some of the Phantom Manor cast members walking past me, and I was like, "You mustn't be open," and they went.
yeah.
And it's not like it. I think I might have said in the video, "Oh, Peter Pan's closed. It's probably opening at 9." It doesn't. It just opens at 9:30.
I think wasn't it broke that day though? Didn't you ask? And they said it should be. They were hoping for 9.
Oh, maybe. Oh, I don't know. But
It
yeah,
was hit and miss.
I'll put the screenshot up, or I've previously done it a few minutes ago of just how closed the park is at that time. It's a bit disappointing.
Don't get your hopes up. Just go on what you can, but
Maybe
I'd
do
just
it.
go
Maybe
to
do it for
soak up
one
the
day.
atmosphere.
I would literally go for like, if you want to just get on rides, go for one day. Do what you can,
Yeah.
but then you've probably done all you can in one day.
I think in an ideal situation, like forget the ride, you go in, like as soon as you get into the park, turn around, Minnie and Mickey are waving at you, then just enjoy Main Street.
I think, do you know what would be
Listen to
nice?
the music, have a coffee.
Yeah, do you know
maybe have
what?
a coffee.
Yeah, at Christmas,
watch.
when we go, maybe just get a coffee and just sit on Main Street or right in front of the castle and just do nothing for like an hour
Because
or
our
half
plan
an
for
hour.
Christmas is we've done everything, so we want to see
We wanna
Marvel
kind of-
and the Christmas things.
We want to kind of experience it more laid back than what we did.
Yeah.
Although we probably won't. We'll probably rush around, but it's not having
Well,
that
we're only there
window.
for 2 nights. 3
Yeah, it's
days,
having that
so-
the freedom that we haven't got to like, any suffer from any FOMO of going on any rides.
But I think people should definitely do Extra Magic Hours. I just think don't do it for the
Oh yeah,
rides,
totally.
it's not
Like
worth it.
aside to all that, I would definitely still get in the park.
Go on what you can go on, but go for the atmosphere.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, walking into the park and seeing Minnie and Mickey wave at you, I think just starts your day. And I think just walking on Main Street
Yeah,
with
the
that,
baby loved that. Really.
a
Oh,
bit
poor.
up music, and then
Can't beat that.
can we go back now?
No. Have
So
the weather
yeah.
help as well, just seeing
Yeah,
the
the
sunrise
weather-
every
the
morning
weather
on the
was
castle.
lovely. It rained for about 5 minutes.
5 minutes
like
on the
Thursday.
yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
I say rain, it's spit. So
I've drank like Prosecco's dead tasty, isn't it? I'm gonna have another one.
see, I had never liked it until we went on holiday and had it in Italy.
Italy, yeah. It's just dead refreshing. Is it my go?
Yeah. So, is mobile ordering worth doing at Disneyland Paris? This is definitely your question.
4.
See, vlog day 2.
Yeah. Honestly, I think in essence, there's no way it can't work because the queues do get big.
Only 3 restaurants do it, don't they, as well, or something?
Oh really? Hyperion.
I'm pretty sure when I was on the app and we were like, should we try it? I'm pretty sure only 3 will of that day come up.
In essence, ordering something ahead of time instead of waiting in a queue is always going to be quicker. In theory. I think I just had a bad experience where the guy in front of me literally ordered, he must have been ordering for like his entire family, he ordered like 10 cheeseburgers. Although, it still should have been quick because he should have turned up and gone, my 10 cheeseburgers please, and they should have gone, here they are, pre-prepared, goodbye, and then I should have went in. But they just went and I waited there for like 10 or 15 minutes even though I pre-ordered, and I was fuming because I was just kind of like, this was the whole point, like.
Because we were trying to basically not keep the baby still.
Yeah. So then the baby was sat still and Jem was at the table with the baby and I was waiting there and I was like,
so
why
really
am I still waiting?
The witch,
yeah.
fine.
Although what didn't help was the tills just kept like being down, or the system they've got where they serve someone on the right then serve someone on the left. I don't know if that's the same in America. I don't think it is, but
No, I
it
think
just
it
doesn't.
might be, you know. Or it was when
I
was
don't know. That
little.
just doesn't seem to make sense to me. But yeah.
Then the whole thing with your email.
Oh yeah. So I kind of explained it in the video, but I got so I booked on the mobile ordering. It said your meal will be ready at this time. Come between in this 10-minute window. Your food will be ready. It's verbatim what it said, and they had a confirmation number. So I was like, okay, great, there you go. Didn't even check my email, but they did send me an email. And then when I got there, I waited 10 or 15 minutes, and I was like, where's my food? I've been waiting pre-order. Why is it not here? And they were like, have you got the email? What's the email? So I went, Richard Mushman, and give me email, and they were like, have you got the email on your phone? And I was like, oh right, okay, there you go. And then they were like, and then they literally went on my phone. They reached over and they went on my phone. They did this and they swiped and they went, confirmation, I've arrived. But I didn't know you had to do that. It's the first time I've ever done mobile ordering. Not that kind of makes a difference, but it just annoyed me that it didn't just work like it was supposed to. But I think in theory, aside to that, I think it probably is worth doing because ordering ahead's always going to be quicker than waiting in line, and the lines seem to go really slow. Maybe it is because of that left right thing they've got going.
Yeah, because you know, I mean, this wasn't mobile ordering, but you know when you went on Tower Terror, maybe me and Dexter.
Yeah, you got the Spider-Man ice cream thing.
Yeah, when I was getting me and Dexter some food, it takes forever.
That quick service actually, when you just go into the studios, I thought was like one of the a bit of a hidden gem that I didn't think a lot of people went to. The times we passed it and it was empty.
It wasn't that busy, but it just took forever.
Yeah.
So that's why you would say
the mobile ordering, it doesn't cost any more.
I think have a go and just chance.
I think that's like the mobile ordering is like the hybrid and compromise between the meal plan maybe. So if you're like, okay, we need to be here by this time, but we need to be fed and have food by this time, do a mobile ordering, like surely that's like the compromise.
Yeah.
Next question. I don't know who it is. Is it me asking you? Sorry. Get ready for a bubble shot. You ready? Chug, 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 chug. Hey, you got a lot out of this bowl.
I mean,
you might as well finish that off.
Glasses, aren't they?
Ooh. Insert sound effect. Okay. Are wait times accurate in the parks?
Probably about 50% of the park is accurate.
I suppose that could be said for any.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's
really
hard to judge. I think as well, like with everything with COVID and stuff, they probably couldn't predict how busy parks are getting. But there's a few times it was like ridiculously wrong. Like
the Tower of Terror one I was on, but that was 20 minutes.
The first one was Space Mountain. It was on day one on the vlog.
Ah, the baby had a meltdown.
The baby had a long day. We planned to go at 3 a.m. He woke up at 2. And then, you know, it's a travel day, so you're travelling there on a plane, in the car, on a plane, on a transfer, and in the park. Like, it's a lot for a baby, especially first time travelling. So, what time would you say it was? Was it about like 4 o'clock or something? Or was it earlier? I can't remember what time we were on.
When on what?
Space Mountain.
I don't know,
like,
but
was it early afternoon? It wasn't a busy period, was it?
I don't know, but bearing in mind, I went on single rider.
Yeah, you went on single rider to do a parent swap with me. So it was like quite a short queue. Well, it wasn't. It's really about a 25-minute wait or something, wasn't it?
And it ended up being like an hour and a half.
Yeah, and the baby at that point, he was just like
he was right. That's he was he fell asleep. So I was thinking I've got at least a good hour. And then I think about after an hour he woke up and I was kind of like, I should have been well off this ride. Yeah. Tower of Terror was another one. I think it should have been 20-25 minutes, was 45.
Yeah, because I queued up,
I tell you what, one thing I think is definitely worth considering, although it shouldn't have been the case with Tower of Terror. I think if you're going on a single rider, I don't know if my logic's flawed here, but like with the Ratatouille ride, they go on in numbers of 3, I think. Which surely in single rider, there's less likely to be 3 people travelling than 2. That's my logic. because 2 people go in a pair. People go on rides in a pair. So if there's 3, there's more likely to be a pair and a spare spot. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So like when I went on Ratatouille, the single rider was like bam.
That was
so
fast.
Just keep that in mind. So if you're going on a ride, Space Mountain, how many's in a row in Space Mountain?
I think go on it.
I can't remember. I think just bear that in mind. If there's rides where it's just 2, groups of 2, like Thunder Mountain, I think your single rider, if you get on and it says 5 minutes, expect it might be like 20 minutes. No, I don't think so.
So maybe they've got single rides and the right rides then.
Maybe, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take it with a grain of salt. Really, like they hit and miss. Some we went on, it was like 10 minutes, and we walked right on. But we never went on one that said 40 minutes and it was 20.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or half an hour.
I think basically go to the ride you want to go to and look at the queue and just use common sense.
And maybe ask a cast member. Maybe say, realistically what you think it's going to be.
Yeah. A lot of them changed while we were in the queue. I went on Big Thunder Mountain in Extra Magic Hours, wasn't it, about 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh no, it might be less and it got changed to 25, which 25 is at the end of the world for Disney.
Wasn't it supposed to be 10 or something and it changed to like 25 and 35 and I was like, at what point and where in the queue is like the change?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think probably like you said, like 50% just
you just got to look at it yourself. Like Phantom Manor, we flew through those queues and I mean we played about 15, 20
I think I alluded to it, Phantom Manor and Pirates.
Because there's a lot of people.
Because there's a lot of people going on at the same time and it's kind of like a conveyor belt. Like Phantom Manor in particular, it's a conveyor belt of people getting on.
Because like
never
how many
stop,
people
it's
must
just people.
go in that room? So many people
But I think for something like Phantom Manor, even if it's a 40-minute queue, you will be moving constantly, which for the baby was great. Like you're holding the baby, you're bouncing around.
Just like a constant
Phantom Manor, you could probably queue in it for an hour and the baby would be okay because you're constantly moving because it's a conveyor belt, the ride. Pirates of the Caribbean, you've got so many people going on. It's, the back flow of the queue, you're constantly moving.
So I think if you're travelling with young children, if you make sure you hit up those rides, like what's that boat ride called that we went on with the baby and he wasn't happy?
Something something French.
The boat ride that takes you around like each fairy tale, like that was pretty much walk a few steps, wait a few minutes. The baby wasn't happy. That was again the first day and he was very tired, but those rides I think are more hard. So if you're with a young child, Pirates, Phantom Manor, maybe we're saying because they're our favourite rides, we went on them like 4 or 5 times.
Phantom Manor's probably the best for it because you've got that conveyor belt of people stepping on the big broom.
Like you don't have to worry. So yeah. So yeah, I think about 50, I don't know, but I'm just saying.
It's hit and miss. It's not, don't get on a ride and expect it to be accurate every time. But honestly,
in Disney World I feel like it's accurate, which I think I might have got my hopes up for.
I don't know, is it me asking you?
No, you just asked me, I think.
Did I? Hang on. Yeah, I did, sorry.
Is Disneyland Paris overpriced? So when you say that, are you saying
I don't know, did I write the question? Isn't that in your handwriting?
I wrote it, but you put it on your phone. So is that saying, maybe you can't answer the question.
I think I wrote that.
Is Disneyland Paris overpriced to travel to as a holiday?
I honestly wouldn't say flights, no. Hotel, no. I wouldn't say so. Park tickets, maybe. As long as you book in advance. Hotel, no.
It's Disney prices. Everyone knows it's going to be expensive for a normal holiday.
Pricing in the park. Right, so...
Hit and miss.
Hit and miss, but generally, like merch-wise, food-wise, like I'd say probably just it's Disney.
It's expensive.
We'll get onto the meal deals in a minute. I think there's a question in there, but in terms of merch, I would say it's mostly overpriced. I would say so.
This bucket was filled with popcorn, and that was €10.
See, that's €10. I don't think that's that bad. Although you might see something and go like, "Oh, what's this?" And I always say like when you're on holiday.
If that was in Odeon, you get a popcorn that big, and it was like £9-10, you'd be like, no. I think in Disney you can get away with saying this fancy popcorn bucket.
I feel like when you go Disney World or Disneyland in Anaheim, you can buy like the majority of like cheap merch and tacky merch, and then you will have like, oh well, I'll get this as like my splurge, and I'll buy like this for $50. When you're in Disneyland Paris, everything's $50 or €50. It's not, but like basically everything you want to go, oh, like I'll get this little t-shirt, and oh, should I choose between these three? Why don't I get all three? They're all €40 and it's ludicrously expensive. Like, I feel like, as opposed to like, I would say in Disney World or Anaheim, it feels like 30% too expensive and I'm not going to get that. And 70% is like, I can probably just buy that. In Disneyland Paris, it's more like 50-50 or 60-40 in the favour of more expensive stuff. Yeah. It just feels like we would have, I think...
Caught us off guard, like those prints.
Yeah, those prints. So we bought loads of...
You got 12 prints.
Was it €30?
35, was it?
Something like that. But I didn't, see, that wasn't
it's
too
like,
bad.
I don't know if you can see that.
But then, like, there's a lot of t-shirts that were just like €40 and it's just like...
I think in America,
if they were like €25, I'd be like, I'll get two. It's method of the madness.
Because do you remember on our honeymoon in California, I bought so many t-shirts.
Yeah, because they were just affordable enough where you're like, I'll get two instead of one. But in Disneyland Paris, they are very much like, no, this is the only one you're getting. As opposed to in America, you'd be like, I'll get both. In Disneyland Paris, like, I'm only getting the one. So that, in terms of pricing overall, that's the only thing. Like, the merch was, I think, 60-40 too expensive. I think. Yeah. It was just like so many things. I was like, that's cool. Like, remember the little like haunted mansion jewelry thing, and it was just, I don't know. It just seemed like everything. I was like, just throw it in the basket and we'll get it. We've got to get it because we're on holiday.
We are the kind of people who were like, do you know what? You might come here once.
Let's just get it.
Like,
but then it got to the point where it's kind of like, it's kind of getting to the point where getting it is being outweighed by the fact that I feel like I'm getting ripped off.
I don't know whether, I can't remember, so maybe I actually need to message like Gary C or someone, but do you know the pins? Like the first 5 times I went to Disney World, me and Matt like collected pins. We'd come off a ride, we got a pin, like no matter what.
The pin situation
that must have cost my mum and dad a fortune, but I thought they were relatively cheap in Disneyland Paris. Like, do you remember we were 30th anniversary?
10 or €11?
Yeah, and I'm sure some are like 7, or am I totally making that up? But some of them were like super cheap. But I always remember pins being at least $12. Like that was the lowest price.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think the pins were cheaper.
How much was the 2022 ones? 11. And like I would have expected to pay about €20 for that because that was like the yearly one.
The pin availability was a whole different thing, which we mentioned in the video.
I don't think people. I
don't think it's a big thing. Maybe in Europe, there just wasn't that much availability. You ask cast members, they just didn't have a clue. And it took us. We went well off the beaten track.
Day 4, wasn't it?
To the shop in Santa Fe to get a 2022 pin. And I filmed getting it. That's how much of a surprise it was. Like a proper treasure. It was like, oh my god, I found it.
And they had 2, and they're the only ones on property.
It was ridiculous. I found one on display, and you were like, oh, it's only for display. It was like, it's only for display. What are you talking about? Just sell me the pin.
Yeah. But yeah. So I think the pins were actually on the cheap side.
Yeah,
it's been a long time because like recently we've decided we want a pin for every visit. So we've like. I had a few, so they have to have the resort and the date, like the year. I had a few from when I've been when I was little, like 3, that covered like my time when I've been, but we've actually had to backtrack and try and get all the years. We're still waiting for one.
2010?
2019.
Oh no, we got 2010, 2019.
If anyone's got a Disney World 2019, they want to sell us one.
Or send it us for free. That would be better.
We need that, and our collection's complete. We've got like nearly over half a lanyard full now.
How many is it? About 12 or something.
I don't know, something like that. But we decided that like last year.
What were we discussing here? Prices. Overpriced. Don't go.
Yeah.
No, I think the vast majority is just general Disney prices.
But like what I was saying was that I've not collected some of that in a long time. That I don't know whether like pins are cheaper in Disneyland.
Yeah, possibly. Like the €11, like I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I was honestly expecting to pay about €20 for that. So yeah. I can't remember.
I'm gonna pull out my hand again. Does the parent swap system work?
Yeah, I'd say so. So the first time we tried it was Space Mountain, but obviously that didn't go to plan. I didn't actually. Rich got the parent swap ticket.
Oh God,
or I might have messaged him and said don't, because like the baby just needs us to be with him, so we didn't do it. So the first time we properly done it was Ratatouille. I think on day 2. You went on it on single rider.
Yeah.
And because we've never done it before, and you know, this is first time being parents, so I wouldn't have ever done it on previous Disney trips. I didn't know whether you had to like almost like walk through the exit back on yourself.
I think the most important thing with it is expect every single ride to be different.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just every ride is different because of the whole like single rider thing, the whole 2 and 3 people.
But essentially,
just ask. It does work in theory.
If you want to do parent swap, you basically go and get tickets to the old fast pass. So
yeah,
priority.
Pretty much.
Priority lane, priority pass. What's it called?
Premium.
I can't remember now.
What is it called? Priority. Lightning lane.
No.
Basically, the old fast pass.
Yeah, so
it differs.
But we had a few different tickets. So when I went on Ratatouille, I got like a full laminated card saying like, this card can have up to 2 people. So I could have actually gone on with the baby.
Yeah.
Which we did on another day. And then when we done it again on Thunder Mountain, I got like, it looked like the old fast pass ticket. And I think, didn't they write on it?
Yeah, I got that on Tower of Terror as well. And they put like the date on it and basically said this entitles you to a one-time use of the
So essentially you just go on the ride, as soon as you come off it, just say...
talk to any cast member.
Go on single rider if you can. When you get off, just say to the cast member, can I have a parent swap pass? And then they just give you a ticket.
It does ride. It does work. Like the single rider is great. And I think if you've got the option, like we did on Ratatouille, just go on single. I mean, you would go on single rider, but just go on single rider anyway because it's good if it's available. It's going to be quicker. Go on single rider. Mention that you want to do a parent swap, and then.
And then if the cast member is nice as the one we got, we made them feel sorry for us.
We walked into Jen using the parent swap, and I was like, "Bye."
We were like,
"Hope you have a nice time. I'll wait here." And then he was like,
"You
"You go in with him." I was like, "Okay, I'll get the bag."
So we went on Ratatouille twice in 10 minutes.
Yeah, as opposed to 35 minutes, which is
what they should do.
Bottom line is it works.
You make people's day.
It works, and they're really accommodating. They're not. I mean, we look quite young for having a baby, so they weren't like, "Oh, are you a parent or what?" So I imagine it gets exploited by other people. I don't encourage you to exploit it because you'll ruin it for us. But you could very easily do that. Like they just literally just go, "Yeah, no problem. Rider swap. Here's a card or here's a ticket or whatever."
Yeah. But it also covers for 2 people, which I didn't know until we were there. So like,
it covers for 2, yeah.
Say we had either another child and both were like, I don't know, of an awkward age, I don't even know, or you were with another family maybe. So if we went with like 2 friends, they could go on while we're with the baby and he's asleep.
That'd be interesting. If we went with a friend if we went for like another couple.
Danny and Leonie.
Our friends Danny and Leonie should come with us. I went on Tower of Terror on a single rider and I just went on and
but say you went on with Danny.
I mean,
and the baby
then
was
you kind of exploiting.
But I feel like that's what they said to me though.
You can go on with 2 people, but I could basically go, "Do you just want to go on this ride?" Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll nip on the single rider because Jen's with the baby. Whoop, beep, there's your pass. Go on, use have fun. You could do that essentially.
No, but what I'm saying is, I said it was like, so there's Dexter, us 2, and 2 friends. Say you and Danny went on it. Me and Leonie looked after the baby.
We were on a single rider or just on it?
On it.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And then you get the pass. Then we could take the baby. Either me and Leonie could go on. I wonder if we get the baby on. No, it's for 2 people.
We did ask that on Ratatouille. We were like, "Oh, here's the 2 people, and also a baby." And they were like, "No, the baby counts as a person, so the baby does count as a person." Even though it's
sat on our knee. But yeah, it worked the charm.
It works. It works. It definitely does work, and it saves you so much time.
I think even if you were a bigger family, so like if you had more than a few kids,
if you had a kid, you could
probably go on with 1 child while say another child was either asleep or eating, then the other. So like dad and son could go on.
I think if you had a kid who was a bit older, even say parent swap, I think it can apply to any sort of child. If you had a kid who was like 10, you could really goose it and like really make the most of it. Like you go to a ride like Thunder Mountain, you'd be like, "Okay, dad, mum, you run on, bam, single rider or whatever. I don't know if you got single rider there, but you know, you run on the single rider, bam, there's your ticket, I'll wait over here. Obviously it's a bit of a bummer, you can't go on all together, but especially rides that you're going to sit in twos anyway or in single file, just make the most of it.
That doesn't bother me, like the years I've gone to Florida with my mum and dad and brother, and because me and my dad were the ones who went on rides, like the amount of times we'd be in, like, I specifically remember the Mummy ride in Universal. Me and my dad always, without fail, would just go single rider, even as like a 10-year-old. We went on single rider, and most of the time they'd sit us together anyway. But like, I just think if you can do a single rider, just do a single rider, because
past an hour and 15 at the minute. Just letting you know
it's
where we're up to
going off
time
topic a
wise.
bit, but like, I just think like, do single rider. I just think if it's quicker, do it. Unless you want a photo with yours all on, I just think it's still a ride, just get on it.
Photo of the baby on Pirates. That's literally the first drop. He's like mortified. Oh, bless him. You didn't know.
It though.
You reading to me?
I'll just read it, yeah.
How many have we got? It's like 3. Let's try and pick up the pace a little bit.
Okay. Can and should you order from the kids menus in quick service?
Right, okay, so we did, like Jen's idea on like the 3rd or 4th day, because honestly the kids options,
you got like an extra thing.
It got like an extra thing, so you were like, oh, here's your main, and here's your side, and here's your dessert, and here's your drink, and I was just like, I'm having a bit of that. The portions are slightly smaller, but I think they definitely fill a hole for a viewer after a quick snack.
Like we said earlier, the way we holiday, we just eat on the go, and like we forget about eating whenever we're feeling that hungry. So like getting a smaller meal, like.
So I think I would advise that yes, I would go. They're literally like half the price. I would go for the. No, I would go for the kids meal. No one asked like, oh, have you got a kid with you? Oh, like how many kids have you got with you? No one asked that. And as far as my research suggests, it's okay to order from the kids menu. I mean, there's that whole argument about you're eating the same amount of food. Why should it cost more? Why should it matter if you're a kid? There's obviously that argument. I don't think it matters, as long as it's a quick service. If you're going for a sit-down meal, someone might ask a question. But in terms of quick service, no one asked the question.
Half the price.
It's fine. It's literally half the price. It might be like 20% less in terms, or 30% less in terms of filling, but I think it's fine, especially if you want to stay on the go. I would just get the kids menu. It's literally half the price. Like, as opposed to €18, it's €9.
In that, I can't remember what it's called, but the quick service, as soon as you go into the studios, you got that Black Widow meal, you got a burger, chips, and a drink, and was that
burger,
like €17?
Burger, chips and drink was about 17, 18, 19 euros, around just under 20 euros. But the kids menu, the chicken burger,
chicken burger was like,
that was amazing.
It was an actual chicken breast, not like a breaded chicken
patty. A whole chicken breast whacked on a bun. That was a kids one with a bit of mayo.
So it was either a chicken. There's free veggie option as well, but there was a chicken burger or a cheeseburger, and it come with fries. Yeah. Then you had a choice of a Spider-Man ice lolly.
A yogurt, wasn't it?
A yogurt and maybe some tomatoes or something.
And you got a drink as well. And then
there was like 3 drink options. That was €9.
That's insane. Like, I think that is some of the adult menus were like decent value. Like, it was kind of like if you were to go to, very UK reference, the Trafford Centre or something to get a meal deal. It was kind of a tiny little bit more expensive than that. But the kids' meals, I think, were insane value. They weren't a kids' meal. They weren't like a £5. They weren't a £5 chips, nuggets, and veg like you might get in like a Hungry Horse or something like that. It was very much like a small adult meal, and you got like so many different things. Like, okay, you pocket the drink, you can have it while you go, and you can eat. I think if you're given the option and no one questions it, get a kids' meal. Even if you got two kids' meals, and pocketed the snacks for the rest of the day, you'd still be better off. I would definitely go for kids' meals.
Yeah.
So no meal plan, kids' meals.
Yeah. Eat like a child.
Beat the system. Yeah. That's it. Right. Okay, here we go. What is the best ride at Disneyland Paris? Don't reason, just answer. What is the answer?
Pirates.
Yeah, I agree.
Initially, I think Phantom Manor, but I prefer Haunted Mansion in Florida and Anaheim.
I also agree.
A mile away. Like, I loved Phantom Manor. We went on it 4 times, but Haunted Mansion in
theming.
Florida. So
I think
good.
theming over adrenaline every day.
Yeah.
That's why Pirates and Phantom Manor are amazing.
And why Alton Towers sucks.
Thin. Exactly.
Yeah. No, like Pirates as well. I think because there was a bit of a drop, and it's like the first time the baby went on.
Yeah, it was quite. I think I mentioned in the video the Pirates ride felt longer. I think in Paris,
yeah, I think
it felt like it was
longer.
like an extra. There was an extra drop in it or an extra little bit, and there was that bit where you went through the massive open like expanse of like the town, and that felt. What are you laughing at?
You went on it with my mum and dad, and you got hit with the gun.
Fully got hit with a cannon in the face. The little explosions in the water. I just kind of turned and went.
You went, Paula.
It just went right in my face. Fully, yeah. I love Pirates though. Pirates is. I love getting off the ride. I love getting off the ride and feeling like it hit every point. Like the queue was themed. The queue, I felt like from the second I got on the queue, I was on the ride. When I got on the ride, I felt like it was lengthy enough that it didn't feel like a waste of my time, but I was in it for an hour. The theming spot on, everything about it spot on, the music.
Jack Sparrow at the end.
I just think, Pirates is everything.
It even worked with
specifically,
the French,
the
even French language within the English. Like
I think everything. Everything a Disney ride should be, Pirates is. I mean, it is in any park, but in Disneyland Paris, I think that's the best.
Are they only in America and Paris? I've never actually looked into the other parts, but I'd love to see what it looked like in the other ones in Asia.
Maybe they do like 1,000 Leagues.
They do that in the Disney at Sea.
Yeah, maybe that's in replace of I don't know.
Mm.
But yeah, Pirates.
Pirates is just.
That's right.
But then Phantom Manor, like.
Is amazing still.
It's really good.
It just feels slightly dated compared to.
It needs like more than the liquor paint, and like it's lacking like in. I can't really remember Anaheim very well, but I really liked it. But in Florida, like in the queue, you go into like a veranda, and they've got something above you that makes you feel like the ghosts are running. Do you remember? You hear that, and it's like the ghosts are running, and then there's they've got like statues, and you
the queue is far superior because the queuing, it's all just covered up, and you go zigzag. It's like an Alton Towers queue.
I've watched in a vlog that there's like in the queue in Orlando. There's like a little like gem or stone dropped in the pavement.
Do you mean the ring?
Well, basically,
like
I think when they made it, it was just like a mishap almost. And if you ask a cast member like what is it, and they claim it's like Madame Leota's ring or something, or like something, or like the bride's ring, and I think there's just a lot more.
But that reason alone, like it's a bit like Expedition Everest in Animal Kingdom. They put the effort in. That's like the total immersion. It's not just you get in the queue and you're like, I'm bored for an hour. Oh, being on the ride, it was over in 30 seconds. # Oblivion Alton Towers. But that's what I mean. Like it's total immersion. But yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean, 100%.
Yeah. 1000%.
Yeah. I hope the camera's still rolling, by the way.
Do you want to go and check?
Let's fast forward this bit. Yeah, I'm still going. We're still rolling.
Is it worth waiting until 11 p.m. for fireworks?
No. Next question.
We do touch on it in the vlog.
Yeah, no, that sounds really harsh saying no. It depends. If you've never been to Disney before and you've never seen a big firework thing, definitely. I mean, not only will you feel like you've missed out, but it is worth staying for.
At least for one of your nights. Like, I wouldn't say go every night because 11 p.m.
If you're used to Disney fireworks shows and you have got a kid and you're like 11 o'clock, oh my god, it's so late. Don't worry about it. Although,
I think you have to see it
5 to 11, yeah, definitely see it once. But 5 to 11 is the D-Light show. Don't know how long that's going to last. The drones, that is amazing. That is so amazing. Unless you work with the drones every day of your life, you're going to find that impressive. It's so good.
And that's literally the first 5 minutes before their fireworks start. So at least see that and then go home.
Yeah, and loads of people were doing that. Which when we first did it, we were like, "You're missing the fireworks, man!" And then obviously we seen the fireworks and we were like, "Eh."
Yeah, like
that's the dog.
The fireworks were good, just not as good as other shows we've seen. It wasn't.
The fireworks felt like
there was no story.
There wasn't any story. It was just a case of party going ring. And then Frozen.
We say in the vlog like the best bits were Pirates and Star Wars, basically because it's an amazing score and the fireworks go
like
after it.
And then obviously Star Wars and the lightsabers.
But then I was watching and Adam had an Instagram live and someone asked him about illuminations, which is what the Paris fireworks are called, and he summed it up well. Like, why would you have a story that like has pirates, has Star Wars, has like the Lion King and ends with Frozen? Like, what story is that?
It's trying to hit like it's trying to be too many USPs at once. It was we have Star Wars, we have these, and it's just like, yeah, we know, but tell a story or trigger some sort of emotive reaction, which the Pixar one did, which we mentioned in the video, because that was very much, we're focusing on Pixar, we're going to tell the story through Pixar films in a very nuanced way, as opposed to here's Frozen, here's Star Wars, here's Pirates, now cry. And it's just like, well, I'm not emotional because you've just thrown so much at me.
I think it might have been his live. Basically, it's totally true. Like, it's like Disney, like, this is everything we do. And it's like, yeah, we get it. Everyone who's in the park knows what Disney does, knows how much
we've got the box set.
There was just no flow. It was nice to look at, but it wasn't we need to see it again tonight. On the last night, I was like, let's go and see it, because I feel like every Disney holiday should start and end with fireworks, which is like, when I was little, it was Wishes, which I loved, and then when we went in 2019, it was Happily Ever After, which I loved, but the best one I've seen so far was, I can't remember what it was called now, but we were in... Yeah, we were in Disneyland, California for our honeymoon, and it was the Pixar Fest, like that, like month or something.
It was like they had a creative director involved, whereas in the Pirates they didn't. They just threw everything on it. Yeah. It felt like there was literally a case of too many cooks.
In general, like that's what they had.
I don't know, but like the Pixar one was orchestrated. They Yeah.
And not to say don't do it. Like, I think if you're there, you have to see it at least once.
But don't be bummed out if you don't see it at all. You should see it, but if you don't see it at all, I don't think it's anything particularly special. It's very just loud. I know fireworks are loud, but it's just fireworks, and there just so happens to be Disney stuff going on in the castle.
And poor Dexter. He stayed up till 2 minutes before
and then he was just like, I'm out.
He's done so well. He loved it. Like, you could see he was proper watching. I don't think he's ever seen fireworks. Because think about it, like bonfire night here, he's well in bed. New Year's Eve, he's in bed. Like, so the first time we saw it, he done really well. But we saw it on the first night and the last night, which is what I always, like, as a child, I think that's what we always done. Fireworks ended your holiday. But I think see it once, and then
they're okay.
You don't have to rush.
They're alright.
Do you like though? I'd see that every
night.
If
that was amazing. That was amazing. That was so good.
Yeah.
And the way the music they picked for it, that like that, just seemed to go with it.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Music that's our ringtone. You have that. I'll have Ready for the Ride.
I just have to learn the French bit in it. Coming out with some absolute criminal interpretations that changes every time. Right, I think it's...
Do you want me to just read it, yeah?
Yeah, well, I think it's your go.
Were there fun restricting...
Did you see that said flu? Because I did. Yeah. Flu restricting, it's a nice way of saying COVID.
Were there fun restricting COVID rules in May?
No.
I forgot.
Honestly, I just want to like breeze past this one. There was absolutely nothing. Not even like, I'm just kind of like, you know.
I didn't even know
there was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not on the plane, not through passport control.
Not in the airport.
Not in the airport. Regardless of what we filled in beforehand, there was absolutely nothing. Not going into the park, not during character meets. There was absolutely zero in
The only thing
in
was
May.
we wore a mask on the plane. That was
Yeah,
really
that was sorry. Yeah, that was the only
yeah.
thing. In May 2022, that was we went. There was absolutely zero anything to do with COVID. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing. You're gone. The last one. God, this is so difficult. This one.
Did you even read that? And that's
No.
the second.
Should you bring or rent a buggy / stroller?
I was thinking about this earlier. So, I think it depends on the age of your child. Do you know how much it is to rent a stroller?
I should have checked this before.
Do you have a quick Google?
You keep them warmed up.
No, so we and ahs about this, but then we took our own buggy, just a cheap one we found from a car boot sale to get battered. We took it because we would have needed it in the airport because Dexter, it'll have been about 20 months when we were there, so we couldn't have expected him, especially from getting up at 2 in the morning, to just walk around or have us carry him. So we needed it.
It just says can be rented for a fee. I don't think the fee's not the point though. I think the point is...
No, but like, if it was like, well, do you know that?
It's not going to be €5,
those
is it?
strollers people had were massive.
That's the point I wanted to
They
make.
look like wheelchairs,
So,
like people couldn't get through.
My point on the buggy thing is, if you've got a baby like we have, and you're
You
in the
need a
airport,
buggy.
and you're going to the airport, and you're coming from the airport, you're going to need a buggy anyway, so take it with you. And the ones they had in Paris were so wide, they barely fit through the entrance
Like, they
gates. Like,
all
we've
had
seen
to-
quite a lot of people being like, you know,
They
trying to
all
get it
had
square.
to go through the disability gate.
Yeah,
didn't
but they barely fit, and they were quite cumbersome anyway, and I don't know if they
They
have
didn't
much
look very
storage.
comfy.
They looked like they were something from Robot Wars. They just looked like a metal frame. They were quite bulky. I don't know. I think though, like, if you've got like a 5-year-old, maybe you'd be thinking, oh, you want to have a nap.
Do 5-year-olds have?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of an excuse. Like, I don't know. I don't see a point in. I don't see a time in saying, oh, we've got a child who wants to sleep in a buggy. It's like, oh, just take one to the airport then. Oh, but why would I do that? I just don't know why you wouldn't.
I suppose you could get those really compact ones, which we did consider getting.
We did consider getting, but then we thought, at what point is the
Are we gonna
compactness? Is the compactness gonna benefit us? Because
only on the plane.
Only on the plane, but then we didn't have to pay any extra to take it on, so that was fine anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then through the park, they have buggy.
They have throw it in the buggy
They
park
have
and then
buggy
go.
parking. It just, between renting a buggy and getting an ultra compact one, we were so close on pulling the trigger on that. It just didn't make any sense. You either take a buggy and just deal with the fact that it's slightly bulky when you're on the plane, or don't take one and rent one, but you need one anyway.
And you have to pay extra per day for that, probably.
Yeah, and I started to look into like taking it between parks and taking it back to the room, and then you have to leave it at the park, and then if your child's asleep, pick them up and carry them back. It just didn't make sense. So if you when you go to the shops or when you go out, when you go out you take your child in a buggy, take a buggy. What's the point in not taking one? So
even if you just see what
reason
we got a buggy. What's the brand?
Joy, Joie.
Yes,
that's how you spell it, or however you say it. Probably French. My French isn't very good, as you know.
We literally got it from a car boot sale for like £6.
Yeah, and
literally for this reason,
yeah,
just for travel.
Just to get battered, and if it broke, whatever.
So
but just they're so easy to buy second hand. Go on Facebook Marketplace, whatever. Just buy one second hand, and if you've been after the trip, so be it. It will be cheaper than renting one.
And at least you know
comfier
you've got
to use.
a buggy from the start to the end of your trip.
Yeah.
Because our main thing is we were like, well, we could rent one, but then the plane, like the airport, the way they sit a minute, like we could have been in queues for hours and hours holding him. Yeah. And he's a runner. Like it would have been hell. It would have been a great start to the holiday.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. So we're finished. That was about an hour and a half. Right. Okay. So hopefully that's answered a lot of questions you had. They were questions that we Googled a million times and didn't have a clue on how to answer, so hopefully that's helped a little bit, especially if you got a baby. If you haven't watched the 5-part Disneyland Paris trip we took, go and watch it.
And subscribe.
And subscribe, and like this video and like all the other videos, and thank you for watching.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.